Hello, good evening, and welcome to the FB4 Podcast at this slightly later time of 10:30 because we listened to you. And when you told us Liverpool programme was on BBC2 and you wouldn't come on and watch us if we didn't change it to 10:30, we said, here, we'll change it to 10:30. If your ma has let you stay up to watch this, tell her fair play from all of us at the Daytrippers. Coming up on the show tonight, we're going to talk about the Charity Shield, the game itself, the reaction to the game, pre-season as a whole, the transfer window as it is and how we think it might go, and just literally everything Liverpool we can think of in the next hour or so. With me I have Seany and I have Keith. I do have Grizz as well, but he's just popped off to double check some settings and he will be back because no matter how many times we test, it just does not work for him. I think he's told all the kids to get off Netflix and there he is there now. Seany, I'm going to come to you first. Liverpool beaten on penalties in the Charity Shield by Arsenal at Wembley yesterday. And the reaction to it's been amazing, to be perfectly honest with you. But on the game itself, Seany, we went nice and strong. We played okay, in my opinion. We looked a fitter side as the game went on. And when it goes to penalties, who cares, Seany?
Yeah, I thought we were very one-dimensional in attack yesterday. Thought everything was just coming through Robbo. I think a lot was being said about the lack of creativity in midfield, and I get it, I really do. But we really missed Trent yesterday, stretching the opposition and making them play. Now, Nico got lashed out, I believe, by certain corners of the fan base, but I actually think he done all right. I think he played himself into the game. He didn't go hiding after his mistakes, so to speak. We can go in through the goal. I thought Robertson was poor for the goal. I thought he looked leggy going back.
Seany's just stopped there as well. Don't know what's going on with Seany there. Keith, I'll come to you. I don't know what's going on here. Keith, I'll come to you.
Yeah.
Sorry, Seany's back. Seany's back. Sorry. Go on, keep going.
Go ahead.
To be honest, I thought Arsenal were good. I thought Arsenal played with energy. I thought they defended very well. It was unlike the Arsenal we're used to, and you have to give credit to Arteta. I think he's doing a decent session there, or a decent season there. He has an idea of what he's trying to do there with Arsenal, and I think they could be on for a decent season. And towards the second half, I thought Keita and Minamino really changed the game for us, and I was yet again really, really impressed with Minamino. I think he's probably been our best player this pre-season.
Yeah, we'll get on to them in a little bit more detail there, but that's a decent observation of the game, I think. Grizz, I'm going to come to you, and we do go possibly as strong as we can. There was a bit of uproar beforehand because Keita didn't start, but for you, and people would say, "Oh, this is in hindsight." And look, the Charity Shield does not fucking matter. If Liverpool had won that yesterday in penalties, I go, yeah, whatever. How do we play? But Grizz, were you happy to see us go strong and look to get minutes in the legs because we have an international break and then we have Leeds on the 12th of September? Were you happy to see us be positive in the team we were playing rather than mix it up too much? No. Okay. No. Keith, same question to you, Keith.
What was the question there, Gav? Sorry.
The question was, were you happy to see Liverpool go strong instead of mixing it up?
Yeah. I don't think there was too much he could have done with the team, except for maybe around their midfield positions. I thought we went strong. Milner obviously is the you'd say contentious one, but he's not really contentious, is he? He's one that you put in and he'd usually do a job for you. We went strong. The front three weren't at the races, I think it's fair to say. And when they have games like that, and when they do, I think it affects our whole play. I agree with what Seany said. I thought Arsenal, I think he's going to do well there. I think they're going to surprise a few people. He's looking to play good stuff, and they have good players. They've good young players there as well. And it looks like they might come together. I think Arsenal might be one to watch this season. Like you said, Gav, don't overly care about the Charity Shield. That's not a dig because we didn't win it. That's a genuine look. We didn't win it last year either, and it didn't really affect us. Do you know what I mean? But I suppose Arsenal will look at it differently and will say, look, it's a winning start to the season. It's a good mentality. But when we look at the teams, what was the only one? It's maybe Keita for Milner, isn't it? And then we would have been literally at full strength, and you can't really argue with that. You know, when I say full strength, I just mean like with Hendo not available, Trent not available. It was as strong as he could have gone. I agree with what Seany said. I don't think Williams was bad. I think he was up against Aubameyang, who, let's be honest, is one of the best players in the league. They targeted him, and you know he had a bit of a struggle, but he'll learn from that, no doubt about it. It's a good learning curve for him. So, look, we went strong. Arsenal played well. But I agree with Seany again. I agree with everything Seany is saying. I think the substitutions of Keita and Minamino really did change it in their favour.
Grizz, are you there? No, he's not there. I'm gonna stick with Seany. Seany, I'm gonna come back to you. I'm gonna try sort this out in the background as we go. I'm here. So he thinks he's there. He's not. Seany, I'm gonna stick with you because there's a couple of comments in there with regards to how, and Klopp kind of touched on it yesterday, where it said, you know, we are missing the final ball. I thought we looked a bit predictable, Seany. I'm being honest with you. 100%. You know, people have mentioned there that Mane was nearly the striker and stuff like that, and maybe that was an idea to try move Arsenal around. But and people have said there about you know, Salah in particular hasn't looked on it. Were we a bit predictable, Seany, or was it just a case of, like, I'd love to get into the mindset of these players, like, okay, they like winning games, but do you think there could be just a thing from the manager going, listen, this doesn't really matter, you have to go here and you need to, we're looking for A, B, C and D with regards to stats when you come back in, you know, in kilometres covered and stuff like that. Is there more of that to be looked at than the performance? Because despite being a bit predictable, I thought we dominated for a majority.
Yeah, we did dominate without really hurting them, Gav. But I don't think there would have been anyone Klopp turning around saying this doesn't really matter, because if you listen to Klopp's press conference on Friday before the game, he said that he didn't really see there being such thing as a friendly, and that everything is a test, and we should use every game to our advantage when we have so little to prepare coming into a new season. I thought we've just kind of followed suit since we won the league, and paint it how you like. I think it's possibly it is a little bit of a hangover now. The last 6 or 7 games in the Premier League, it's hard for us to go up for them because the job is done. This has been like a 2-year climb to Everest, so to speak. So there was always going to be a blowout at the top, and we do seem a little bit predictable. And I do think teams are starting to kind of figure out the way that we play. Now, that's not to say that we won't win the majority of the games that we play next year, because we still do have that type of quality. But I just thought I looked very laboured, very casual. There was times where Mane was just walking on the ball, like it was really annoying me. He's just putting the ball out. It was like, so I think he has sort of a personal battle going on with Rob Holding from the game from the Emirates, and I kind of seen that way. Like the thing that is starting to really, I won't say worry me, Gav, but the thing that I've been thinking about today is that you look at Tsimikas coming in with Robertson there, and Robertson now is in a position where he's going to be pushed, and bad performances could be punished with him being left out of the side, and someone like Tsimikas coming in. Now, Origi has done a job. How effectively, you ask a different person, he'll have a different opinion. We really do need, but everyone's going on about Thiago. If I had 3 positions that I'd update in this team, I'd be looking at a 4th-choice centre-back, or maybe even a 2nd-choice centre-back, and someone to back up the front 3, because there's absolutely no competition to those front 3 lads, and they're not under really any pressure to perform, especially in games like yesterday, when if you had someone like a Sarr or someone else to come off the bench there, we do need to freshen up the squad. It is time now. They got away with it last year, and I was one of them who was vocal last year when we didn't sign players that I thought, well, what are we doing? We should be strengthening from a position of strength, so to speak. And we didn't, but we went on to win the league. And that's all well and good. But I think there's way too much football now in the legs of that front three to expect them to do it again this season with an even more packed schedule. I think it's unrealistic. I think it's unfair on them to pile that onto them. So, I think the front three, we definitely need to look at someone there. And speaking yesterday on the game, look where it took yesterday. When the final whistle went in that game yesterday, Gomez was at right back and Fabinho was at centre back. We're at pre-season and we're already moving our first choice holding midfielder into centre back. So there's obviously issues there that need to be addressed. This isn't neat. I don't think this is knee-jerk either, because I think these are problems that have been lasting for quite a while. I think that the four-choice centre-back thing has been a problem for quite some time at Liverpool because the durability of the three lads we have beside Van Dijk.
Keith, the argument is there that, and Jono says, Gav, don't equate keeping the ball to dominating. We did nothing with it. No, we didn't. We didn't have enough shots on target. I suppose what I mean by that was we looked comfortable. Is probably the argument. Now, Arsenal did have a couple of chances. Our finishing wasn't great, but I thought overall, I think it showed near the end of the game. When we scored, I thought there was only going to be one winner. I thought Arsenal were out on their feet, and they would have been delighted to get through to penalties. And that's where, in 2 weeks' time, Arsenal won't be out on their feet with 20 minutes to go. In a league game. That's how big 2 weeks is when you're doing that. But Keith, Seany touches on something there, and it's about the competition for the front three, and we'll get onto it in detail later with regards to what the way the squad is, what you want to see, because we've had a lot of comments on Twitter and YouTube. By the way, the comments on YouTube are brilliant. I look at them all nearly every day. But we've had a lot of comments with regards to, lads, we need to do this, we need to do that, we need to do this, and we will get onto that later on. I promise you we will, because another accusation that was thrown was that we all agree with each other. That couldn't be further from the truth. Could not be further from the truth. But Keith, I want to give credit to Arsenal here, because I thought that goal was fantastic. Now, I know where Seany's coming from. I think the press, we are filled into pressing, first of all. I think Robertson in 2 weeks' time cuts that ball out, or isn't in a bit of no man's land for that. And Nico Williams is getting a hard time because he lets Aubameyang come in and shoot. But I think you have to look at the run that's made beyond Aubameyang. That kind of catches Nico. It kind of catches Nico Williams' eye for just that second, and he's thinking, "Come on, Seany."
From someone who's played in defence, he's actually done well there. He does the right thing. He shows Aubameyang inside first and then tries to cover Tierney, but then he realised, fuck's sake, Aubameyang has got the quality to finish from there.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he does. It was a brilliantly worked goal from Arsenal. The ball from Saka is brilliant. The ball from Saka is excellent. And then Tierney marauding down the left-hand side. He was into minds, Nico Williams. But the thing is, this is where that's top teams force mistakes. Every goal in football comes from a forced mistake, unless it's a blammer from 30, 40 yards out, and with sometimes he just can't be accounted for. We got caught lovely. Like you said, Gabby, you hit the nail on the head. Filled into pressing. Robertson is on the halfway line, and all it takes is one ball from Bellerin down the line.
But it's not even a press, because
they avoid it like that the whole game.
Well, they're going to invite you on, because that's the way Arteta's going to want to play if he's learned anything under Pep Guardiola. But the thing was, it wasn't a press. It was a half a press where one pair half-hearted went for it, and he gets done on the end line, and then they're open. But I think in 2 weeks' time, I think that's a whole different situation. I think Nico Williams is caught. He should be showing Aubameyang out onto his left foot. But that run across him or behind him, I think just takes him for a second. And it's a brilliant finish. Like, let's be honest about it. 9 times out of 10, you want the fella coming and shooting from there. You think we'd able to get it on target, and B, if he does, our keeper will save it. It's a brilliant finish. Grizz, are you with us?
Hi guys, I've always been here, like in the background, like watching you, listening to you.
Okay, we've started a whip around. We've started a whip around for you to get real internet. So that's coming on well. Let me see. But Grizz, I'll come to you.
I've got to the bottom of it. Sorry, I've got to the bottom of it now. Let's go.
Okay, no worries.
Famous
okay.
last words.
Yeah, he's got to be gone in about 5 minutes. But Grizz, we're talking about Arsenal. We're giving Arsenal a bit of credit here, because the goal he scored is a good goal. Nico Williams has got, people are saying he's not up to it at this stage. Nico Williams played probably 10 games for Liverpool. You need to give him some time. But would you pile some pressure on Nico Williams, or would you say, listen, cut a little bit, but a great finish, you move on?
Of course we do. That's exactly what you do. He's a kid. Have we forgotten the amount of times Trent was sort of taken apart by Rashford and Zaha and all these fellas? Do you remember when Trent first came on the scene? It's exactly the same. It's a learning process. He's a kid. I think
he was getting lifetime line as well, boy.
Yeah.
Only him for the goal. It's harsh. It's harsh to blame him. The overlap by. Oh, I forget online. Forget online. But let's talk. Let's realistically look at it from a football people's point of view. He's a kid. He's learning his trade. 2 against 1 for any fullback, experience, inexperience, is trouble. You expect your midfielder to come and help you out, which was Gini, by the way. Gini was slow in coming to help him out on that side. So it's a 50-50 blame. He has to, yes, he could have sort of shown him outside, but as I said, he's up against Aubameyang, who's probably one of the best strikers in Europe. Okay, let's get real. Up against a rookie. So sometimes give credit to the opposition. Apart from that end aspect of that goal, it was actually a brilliantly well-worked move from Arsenal. As Gav says, it was a bit of a half press. I saw the replay and they played it out. They started from the keeper. That goal started from
didn't make it 5 minutes.
No, I told you wouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't know who to be going to now, because he's talking and then he's stopping, and it's he needs to throw that laptop in the bin. I leave him there in case he comes back. Keith, couple of positives out of the game for me. People crying over Keita not starting. And he gets on. I thought he was really good when he came on, I have to say. And Minamino again comes on, and he's a bright spark. Is there an argument there to say we're all talking about Thiago and stuff, and that's absolutely fine? Is there an argument there to say that Keita is probably the one you need? Because somebody else said in the chat there earlier, we're gonna find ourselves against teams that are a block of 10, and that's it. Is Keita the one, if stays fit, that has to play in these games?
I think he's an option. I mean, Thiago's probably the best press-resistant midfielder in the world. He'll go in there, he'll find spaces, pick pockets, find holes all over the place. I think, Thiago, if we were to get him, would be a sensational fit. Whether we need him or not, it's another thing. Keita can do it, but I'd say I think Keita's a brilliant player. I am a big fan of his, but the durability thing is what's going against him for me. I don't want to pin me hopes on him. It's like our centre-back options as well, as Sean, you touched on. When you have players that suffer injury after injury and little scabby injuries, they're the annoying ones. Keita picks up little, muscle pains and he's out for 6 weeks. It's not, look, I don't know, maybe the physicality just isn't, it's taken him a while. You can see visibly that he's bulked up from even last year, that he's made a bit of improvements physically. He could be a good option to have. I think if he stays fit, he's an option. There's no harm having those options. A lot of people are losing their shit that Keita didn't start in the chat as well there about, Keita should have started. Milner got the game probably, it's the Charity Shield. It's not that's not an important game, but it's the Charity Shield. Milner got the nod. Happy days. If there's a game, I think whenever their first game of the season is, I think Keita will be ahead of him in the pecking order.
I think
his cameo done him no harm.
I think there's more claim. I think people that are moaning about Keita not starting would have more justification if it was a league game. But the fact that it was a preseason, the fact that it was a Charity Shield, he's just picking the team for whatever, and getting legs into all the players. And there's no doubt Keita will start the first league game. But if it wasn't, because look, I agree that wouldn't have been a starting lineup that would win. You'd expect to win a league game. Okay, let me word it differently. You wouldn't expect that team to start the first game of the league. That's what I'm saying. But the fact that it's a Charity Shield, you ignore it. It's a fucking charity shield.
Oh no! Listen, I've said at the outset that to me the charity shields means fuck all to me, and never has meant anything to me. I always look at it as a charity game where two teams turn up and play against each other because of the results from the previous season. It has no bearing on the season. It has no bearing on the game in 2 weeks' time. But all I'm saying is, what we seen from Arsenal yesterday was probably what you're going to see from a hell of a lot of teams, even more magnified than what you seen last season when teams sat back. And all I'm asking is, if we give Keita the benefit of the doubt, like Maverick says there, Naby has to deliver this season. We have not had enough. We have not had enough to say he's going to be a brilliant player, sadly, because people project far too much on him. That's a very fair point.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, the style of player that he is, as opposed to a Milner or a Wijnaldum, it could be something that could be huge for us. And I think Keith is right. He has to, I've said it, he has to go 20, 25, 30 games on the absolute bounce where he's available and playing before people get that, always injured kind of tag away from him. Seany, I'm going to come back to you. I'll let you go on Minamino because I liked him when we played against Stuttgart. Really liked him in tough conditions. I thought he showed a different side to his game against Red Bull Salzburg. By that I mean his intelligent positioning, especially when we were out of possession. I thought he was quite good and he worked very hard. And yesterday I thought, somebody says in the chat, he was a breath of fresh air. I couldn't put it any better.
Yeah, he's been excellent in pre-season, Gav. He's really, really impressed me. I seen Virgil had quotes about him today as well, saying that it's great to see him settling into the team, and you can tell now that he feels like he's part of the gang, because he was a bit of I think Phil said it the other night on the podcast, a Johnny come lately, so to speak. But I think now he realises that he should be at that level, and he was excellent, and he looks a lot more physical. I've seen him barging into Arsenal players on the edge of the box yesterday and putting himself about. Do you know who he's reminding me of? And people are going to go mad over this, and I probably think it's a little bit of a loose comparison. Minamino in pre-season has really reminded me of early days Jurgen Klopp, Adam Lallana, everywhere, turning on the ball, spreading the parade, popping up in the edge of the box, being everywhere, part of the press, really good in possession, tidy on the ball. I think he could play a really, really good part yesterday, and you could see how much the goal meant to him. It's great to see him growing into, because you need to remember, like, he came from Salzburg, who were a decent side. Let's not beat around the bush. They are a good side, but when you go from playing from in Austria to the Premier League, it's going to take time. There's so many barriers, and he seems to be overcoming them one by one. The way he's playing at the moment, he could be putting himself in contention and probably getting a start against Leeds, because that's how good he's been. He's been absolutely excellent there. And I'm delighted, because a lot of people are writing Minamino off after a couple of throwaway performances in games where he's just been given the runabout really by Klopp. So look, if anything, it just shows that people need to hold fire before they make these sort of judgments, because there's so much involved in integrating a player into this squad. You only have to look at the likes of Oxlade-Chamberlain and Robertson, who had the benefit of doing a full pre-season, and Fabinho before they got into the squad. And it was late November, late October, early November before some of them featured for Liverpool in their fourth season. So Minamino was excellent, and to be fair, I know we'll probably end up playing a couple of more games before Leeds, but 100% my player of the pre-season so far. He's getting the Marco Grujic at the Summer Award.
Yeah, all he needs to do, if he'd have scored a header from 25 yards there on the weekend, he would have eclipsed Grujic. But I agree with you, Seany. I like the Lallana comparison. I think you're right. I think he's very busy. He's a bit more physical than you expect, and there is a difference in the way he's moving around the pitch as opposed to when he arrived in January up until the end of last season. It was interesting. We switched to 4-2-3-1, and he was really, really involved. That might be something that you watch in the future, and it will be something that we might have to do, because loads of people are pointing out that these teams are going into just two blocks of 4 and blocks of 5, and it's going to be one of those where we're going to have to find pockets, and that's why Thiago's being shouted for. But Minamino, Keita, they seem like players that can find those pockets. Megan says, nice to see Minamino get off the mark, took his goal really well. I think he could score a few goals for us this year. Megan, I have him down for at least 10 goals this season. Ramez says 584 people in the chat and only 187 likes. He said he is urging people to hit the like button, and so we. Sorry, that's gone on me. Let me find that. Paul Joyce tweeted Krishna. I don't know what that means, but we'll try and find out. Grizz, I'm going to come back to you. We get beaten on penalties, but one of the major talking points around it was Brewster, and I was surprised we didn't see him earlier in the game. And he comes on with like a minute to go to take a penalty and misses the penalty. And I have to be honest, I am disgusted at the reaction to this lad coming on without kicking a ball and taking a penalty and missing it, and people absolutely down his throat from whatever 6:30 last night, 7 o'clock last night. It's ridiculous, isn't it? No, still not there. Keith, same question to you.
His finger is moving, but he's just not there. It's mad. No. Yeah, it is. The reaction is being scandalous.
Just more Mongos, man. Exactly. Basically, just stupidity. Just
Grizz is in an alternate timeline. I think.
Yeah.
He's like a boxer that's had to get in the bollocks knocked out of him.
Grizz is on IPTV, I think.
My Jesus. So
Jan Jansen must have sold him that laptop.
Where were we? Rhian Brewster. Yeah, Rhian Brewster. Look, the total reaction to the whole thing, you know, Klopp's getting lashed over for throwing him under a bus. So I don't think he threw him under a bus. So I think Klopp came out and said he's never seen him missing a penalty. He had confidence that he could have stepped in and took one. It was a move that he done. Maybe could have put him on earlier, but look, I'm not going to start doubting Klopp making substitutions, you know, that way. I think people criticising Brewster for a missed penalty.
Grizz is on +1. Go on, keep going.
Yeah, I just think the overreaction to Brewster from both sides, from the blaming Brewster for missing and blaming Klopp for putting him on. It's been ridiculous. Managers have made substitutions for penalty takers.
That was a very poor decision.
Do you think to put him on with the last kick? Do you not? But do you not think it was? It's a confidence thing. They must have known. Get him on there.
No, I think it's a risk for nothing really. Like you said, it's a confidence thing. The lad was clearly devastated when he missed the penalty.
Yeah.
And you could see the reaction of the players around him as well, sort of. And that will sort of, I know he tweeted it or he put up a post on Instagram and all that, but I think it was a poor decision from Klopp. I think bringing him on for the 30 seconds at the end, I always see that as an insult to a player. I'm bringing you on to burn down the clock sort of thing. I know it can be useful in games where you're probably defending a 1-goal lead, but a charity shield where, look, let's be honest, it's a pre-season friendly. I thought it was poor management from Klopp not to even give him 15 minutes to bring him on at the 75 mark, regardless of how the game is going, because let's be honest, it's a fucking pre-season friendly. And
he could have put him on for Firmino instead of Curtis Jones, I suppose, and given him those minutes and let him play his way into the game. And while I do say that, he's obviously confident that he could have scored, the penalty wasn't a very confident penalty. He just smashes it straight down and the crossbar. But look, it's one of them. He done it. It's over with now. We would have liked him to win it, and I am good for Brewster. That he's. It's a tough one. We've spoke about this before, and we were speaking about it on WhatsApp and all today about what happens next for Rhian Brewster. I think the decision is made for him, and I don't think it's looking too positive, to be honest. Now, I think Brewster could be out the door, and it's a sad way for him nearly to go out. I don't think the penalty. What I'm trying to get to is I don't think the penalty is going to make it's going to influence it one way or the other. Do you know what I mean? I think the decision.
Yeah, I just think the decision to bring him on was, I think at that stage was, like, you have Origi there who hasn't been around for pre-season, and there's people saying that he's going to be held onto and Brewster's going to be let go. I just can't make sense of the decision to bring Brewster on. That I put in the WhatsApp group. Klopp's going to give him 90 seconds here. It was written all over because the talk midweek he was going to get a chance. That's not a fucking chance. Chance to take a pen up.
I agree with you.
It's not a chance. Like, let's be honest. And look, I'm not going in blaming on Klopp. It's just he's not infallible. Like,
exactly. Yeah.
It's subs can be questionable sometimes, and I think it was just. I think it was a poor decision on Klopp's behalf. Many might disagree, but it's just my opinion. I think you're probably dashing the lad a little bit, even bringing him on like that.
Go on.
It's just even the way he talked about him after the Salzburg game. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm probably reading way too much into it. And it's not a knee jerk. I just thought you could have given him 15 minutes at least.
Like Maverick says he brought him on to take a pen, no issue there, but it's also a fair point that you should have given him 15 minutes to warm up into the game before penalties. I think what kills him is we score. I think the chances are he would come on if we'd have went another couple of minutes without scoring. But then when we do score, Arsenal start to look leggy, and he probably thinks Liverpool are in a bit of a groove and they're on top of Arsenal, and we'll see if we can get a winner. And then when it looks like we're not going to, we decide to stick them on because of the penalties. Listen, everyone's missed penalties, you know. Yeah. The lad misses one. No big deal. You know, it's a fucking charity game. He's missed a penalty and it's no big deal. You know what I mean? But I know where Seany's coming from as well. Like, to say in a press conference that Brewster will be involved, and then to do that, I think it might be in circumstance where we score and he might just think, I'm just going to leave it the way it is at the moment because we look like we're on top. And Brewster, unfortunately, is the victim of that. Moving on, lads, pre-season overall. Just quickly on it. It's been a very short pre-season. It looks like Liverpool might play a friendly game at Anfield next weekend while the internationals are on. I've read that somewhere. I think it'd be quite welcome to the players that haven't gone away on international duty to keep them up to speed. But overall, we've done the best we can, Keith, haven't we? Because like a couple of weeks off over to Austria, play against Red Bull Salzburg, Stuttgart, come back to Charity Shield. There's not much more you can do, is there?
No, I mean it's a shortened period of time. The season runs on. There's not really, too much you can plan. I thought they were the friendlies in Austria were two high quality friendlies. It wasn't any easy games by any stretch of the imagination. Obviously, they weren't the hardest either, but they were good friendlies to have in pre-season. And what's going on? And they were good ones to try and get the lads into form. I thought they played well in the games. I thought, we came back into the Salzburg when we were getting cut open a bit too easy. I was more interested in the reserve players maybe than the fourth choice players, if I'm being honest. And a few of them did, as they always do in pre-season, interest me a bit more. But I just think the intensity isn't there at the moment. And when the season starts and ramps up, that'll be the main thing they'll try and get into them. Be more intense, and that'll when we'll see the real Liverpool. We can't read too much into the friendlies, and we can't read too much into the Charity Shield. I think it'll all come when the games are coming to the important games.
Yeah, you absolutely judge them. You absolutely judge them from Leeds onwards,
For context, look at last year. Last year's pre-season was a fucking unmitigated disaster.
Sure,
it was absolutely woeful. We got battered by Napoli. Yeah. And we got battered. We got kicked around the pitch by Sevilla in America, and they just so leggy. Yeah, and the Spawn listing game was awful. And then, literally from that Napoli game, we won. I think the next time we dropped a point was October, and the first time we lost the game in the league was February. So it is pre-season. Look, and it feels a bit like Groundhog Day when you're scrolling through Twitter and you're seeing people complaining about signings or lack of signings, and then what we need and what we don't need in the side. Like, people just need to fucking chill out for a bit.
Yeah.
Jay confirms there, Blackpool Saturday at Anfield. Okay, that's cool. And I think it was Chris Brack says it's only the European players that have international duty. The South Americans and Africans do not go away on international duty. So there'll be a decent squad out then for that game at Anfield on Saturday against Blackpool. Well, I think the three of us are quite happy. People are asking about Grizz there. Listen, Grizz has a new laptop We have tested it and tested it and tested it, and every time he comes on here, something goes wrong. We're trying to work out exactly what's wrong because the setup was absolute perfection at about 10:15 this evening. So as soon as the show is over, we will go back to Grizz and see exactly what the problem is and try fix it. But we will do our absolute best. Somebody called us unprofessional because it happened. We're not professional people, which is funny. But moving on. So lads, I want to talk about, let's call it transfers. I don't think it is exactly transfers, but I've seen a hell of a lot of stuff online. A lot of people, I think a lot of people are panicking. But having said that, I've made my position fairly clear on this. I'm very comfortable where we are at the moment. We have until the 6th of October to add additions to the squad. And me personally, I would expect a centre-back, an attacker, and Thiago. I think if we don't do that, I think it's a big mistake in the summer because we need strengthening. You can do, but freshening up, I think, is an absolute. It's an absolute necessity for me, and I think people crying out for freshening up, I think, are spot on. People just crying every day because we haven't signed a different person every day of the week are just mental. But Seany, I think you're fairly calm on what we're doing, but I'm going to put it out to you. What if we get to the 6th of October, Seany, and we have done no more business? People have just presumed that, look, COVID, this, that, and the other, which is wearing a little bit thin, I'm going to be honest with you, with the way other clubs are acting around us. What do you do if we get to the 6th of October and those additions haven't come in?
If that is the case, which I don't think it will be, I'd be seriously disappointed. And I think you'd have to ask kind of questions of recruitment and the owner of what's going on there, because it's fairly obvious to see what we need in the squad. We addressed the issue at left back. We need a centre half, and we do need another attacker. Now, the thing is that's popped up this summer that none of us thought would is a player like Thiago has become available, and I think if players like Thiago are available, then you should be signing them, especially if the player is one desperately trying to come to play by Liverpool. I think what feeds this whole narrative, Gav, is just it's social media, and people are reading every day the same story, the same information, just rehashed and worded differently, and they're starting really to wear thin. And I understand it can be frustrating if you're reading every day that all you need to do is agree valuation, and you have the likes of Fjordhoff and Romano, who, let's be honest, they're
click merchants.
They're click merchants. They love the celebrity of all of this. They're never ever held accountable to stuff that they say and get wrong. Because six weeks ago they were saying that Sancho was signing and it was a done deal and everything was done. And then
Jadon Sancho was imminent for the last 4 weeks.
Jadon Sancho has been imminent to Manchester United since he left Man City, according to these people. And you see these things coming out like Michael Zorc came out, the president of Borussia Dortmund, saying, no, he's not going anywhere. We've had no contact. But people are choosing to believe these clickbait journalists of the internet. So I just think people need to chill out. If it comes to October 6th and the business is not done, Gav, then I have to be honest with you, there's absolutely no excuses. There's absolutely no excuses, because I genuinely don't think finances is an issue. And I don't think the club have ever put out there that finance is an issue. I think the one mistake they did make was publicly trying to furlough staff. And I think they have to toe the line now regarding that they can't be immoral. But if you look at our opponents on Saturday, Arsenal made redundant 55 people, but now they're signing a relatively unknown centre-back for 30 million from Lille. So, look, we like to think that football is still this sentimental, heart-of-the-community game that we all love and fell in love with, but it's not really. It's a capitalist venture, and for big companies now, because that's what they are. Football clubs are just massive companies now. We just happen to be fans. And it's all about money at the end of the day. Even Klopp said the other day, he kind of paraphrased him. You'll see what we can spend, and then kind of stops straight away and says, well, we'll see what we want to spend. If you're asking me now, I think we definitely bring in a centre back, and I do think Thiago signs. People in the chat there are going on about him being linked with Manchester United, but fuck me, like, wisen up. Like, they done this 2 weeks ago with PSG, and when we didn't bite on that, they tried Man City, and when we didn't bite on that, they're trying Manchester United now. I think Thiago will get done, a centre back will get done, and I think we really, really do need back up to the front three. I think we need another 3 players in. That this has not got to do with knee jerk. I think this is something that we just need in order to remain competitive on all fronts next year.
Yeah. Makar asked, Gavi, you're pulling back from Thiago being a Liverpool player. No, absolutely not. I'm not. I'm asking the question because people have brought this concern up, and we as a show and a podcast watch this stuff go on and think, well, let's ask the question. Other podcasts may not ask the question. I don't know, but we will. I know I'm sticking to the fact that I believe Thiago will be a Liverpool player. Jay says, news on Twitter that Barca have agreed a €30 million deal for Gini Wijnaldum. We'll have to wait and see if that's verified, because again, it's Sunday night and you need something to read on a Monday morning.
Gav, can I just see the way he put that comment in there? Like, that could be fucking anyone from anywhere. This is the thing with Twitter and social media. I could start a social media account tomorrow with a Paul Pogba avatar, posing to be a United fan, slaughtering new signings after having one bad game. This is the thing with the echo chamber that is Twitter. Like, people don't even enjoy the game for what it is anymore. It's all about these transfers now and stuff like this. Who's spending the biggest amount of money? Like, what just over a 30-year wait, one of the best individual seasons in the club's history, and there's people pissing and whinging about signings that aren't done. They wanted the player signed yesterday. If he signs tomorrow, they would have wanted it done yesterday. These people will always find something to give out about, and that's just the way it is. Yeah. If it comes to the October 6th, like you said, back to the original, if you get to October 6th and the business is not done, then questions still need to be asked.
Jono, sorry, Keith, I'm going to come to you now. Like Jono says there, Palace has spent 20 million on a kid from the Championship, yet we can't pay 25 million for a world-class midfielder. Now, listen, that's where the concern is coming from, and that's where the observations is coming from. Like, you see Leeds are linked with Ryan Kent at 15 million. They've bought some guy off Valencia, haven't they, for 30 million. They're linked with somebody else, another Rodrigo, I think his name is actually.
Rodrigo from Valencia.
Yeah, no, but there's another guy, Rodrigo De Paul, is linked for 30 to 35 million
there as well.
Yeah, so but being honest with you, like, they have to spend, and they have to come out and spend. I would have to take it at face value that Liverpool are just being cautious is the wrong word. I think trying to be clever in and structuring this correctly, where, you know, and I said this the other night, I don't think Liverpool are against, you know, signing players. People will mention the COVID and furloughing staff, but they never furloughed staff in the end. So, you know, I think that argument's out the fucking window, to be perfectly honest with you. I think that might be an excuse that doesn't wash with me, I'm being honest. But when you look at it, Liverpool do need to get some players off the books. Now, I'm not saying they must get players off the books. It must go off, and that's the end of it. And we can't do anything then players go off. But they need to balance this, because they like doing their deals properly. And what I mean by that is they're not going to sign a player and then let a club come in and bid 5 or 10 million less for a player that we want out, because they know you just have to get rid of him now. But Keith, when you look at this at the moment, like, I think the Thiago deal, like, we're 7 days out from you know, Thiago after playing the Champions League final. There's just loads of shit flying around about him, but Thiago doesn't solve all the problems, does he? Like, you do need 2 or 3. Are you willing to wait until the 6th of October and then say, this is what's happened on the 6th of October, this is what we're lining up with, and I'm not happy or I am happy? Where are you going to go on this?
Jurgen Klopp said a good thing. It was on his first press conference about...
Close the door.
His first press conference about being, you know, he'd rather be thought well of when he's leaving somewhere than when he enters. And I think we have to judge the transfer window as a whole where you can win the transfer window or lose the transfer window, but it'll only really be successful or unsuccessful at the end of the season, right? So I think with Liverpool, I made a comment on Twitter yesterday about Nico Williams, being a backup and being a young player, and Liverpool trying to solve problems with the likes of Williams and Jones internally rather than spending. And people were coming at me saying we should be spending, we should have world-class players in every position. So we have a fan base that expect world-class backups. Now, Liverpool are not going to do that. Liverpool are going to be sensible and try to be, as you said, maybe not smart, but they're going to try and be... I disagree with something you said, Gav. I think the furlough thing has affected them. I think it's all about image. I think they make mistakes along the way, and it always has consequences. It's like Virgil, when they were signing Virgil, they made the balls of that, and it's impacted how we've done our transfer business ever since then. I think the furlough thing has impacted. I think we are going to shake it up this summer, and I think that's impacted on it. I think we will sign players. What annoys me is that people want players just for the sake of signing players. They have to be the right players, and they have to be positions we need. I think we all agree a centre-back is needed. We all agree that a striker, a forward player is needed. I'm of the opinion we won't sign a forward. I think it's going to be a centre-back and Thiago that will come in, and Tsimikas, obviously. And I think that's what we're going to do. I think we'll stick with what we have till next summer with the forwards. Is it right? I don't know. I think it's a bit of a risk considering the players we have there. But I think there could be a formation change. And I think position changes as well. I think Salah will move to centre forward. I think we'll change the way we're playing and use the players that are there. I don't think we're going to buy a forward to cover the front three.
Okay. Grizz.
All right, Kev.
Are you okay?
Yeah, not too bad, Kev.
Okay.
It's like I've never been away.
Yeah, let's hope this holds up now. Grizz, Lee Sinclair says, all this talk in the media about Mane being excited about the move to Barca has really got me worried. I'm not going to lie. Grizz, can you tell me about this news that Mane is excited about going to Barcelona? Because I haven't heard anything about this.
No, I haven't. There was a report from one of the Spanish tabloids, I think.
Yeah.
Was it Keith? Was it a Spanish tabloid?
It was a Spanish tabloid.
Yeah, so absolutely nothing.
He was offered to Barcelona, apparently.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
they can say what they want. There's absolutely nothing to that story. It's absolutely just, I don't know where this come from. He's the happiest man in Liverpool. He wants to win. He wants to retain this title more than anyone else. We know this. So yeah, forget all that Mane rubbish. But I think I got the end of that Keith's points about formation change. I really liked us going back to the Charity Shield. Sorry, I know you guys have moved on years ago. But just very quickly, I did like the way we switched it up in the second half. He didn't just sort of leave the formation as it is, leave the way we were playing. Do you know what I mean? So I did like the way he switched it up, and I don't know what you guys thought, but I thought we looked tasty. I know it was only like 45 minutes of it, but I thought that 4-2-3-1 is definitely worth persevering in games, and it gives us many, many options. It sort of made Minamino look a different player as opposed to playing him as a false nine, which we've discussed. It's not his position. Well, I've screamed at the top of my head, it's not his position. It's not his position. And, last two games, his last two outings, he's looked really tasty, but with a more free role. Do you know what I mean? He's playing essentially on the left, but coming in from the left, as an attacking midfielder or at times a number 10. He looked a different player.
He did. Jono is having another go at me, I think, here. He said, Gav, you can't bulk at transfer fees from other clubs. You put stupid prices on your players. I didn't say anything about stupid prices, Jono. What I said was, and let me give you an example. Liverpool signed Thiago Alcantara for £27 million, and Marco Grujic is on the market at £20 million. Okay? What I'm saying is, if we feel 20 million is realistic, and it probably is, we don't want clubs coming back in and going, well, we know you want rid of them, we're giving 12. And you start losing 5 million here and 5 million there. And, that's the example I'm trying to give. I'm not balking at anybody spending enough money. What I'm saying is Liverpool are probably looking going, we need A, B and C out the door, but we can't really do anything with the player we want because it's going to trigger A, B and C losing value just by us signing player, Thiago.
It's nothing got to do with finance. It's absolutely nothing got to do with finances. It's just logistics. It's the logistics of the squad at the moment. we need to get rid of non-homegrown players. At least one of them before we can make this move happen. I don't understand how people aren't picking this up. It's well documented now. You have 25 players in a squad. 8 of them must be homegrown. You have 17 non-homegrowns. At this current time, without any more signings coming into Liverpool, if we sign another foreign player, we are literally at capacity. So either Grizz, Shaqiri or Carragher, any of these foreign lads who are subject to bids and leaving the club, we're over the barrel trying to sell them. That's what it is. We're protecting their assets. That's all it is.
Yeah, Shawnee, do you know what it is? It makes sense. It makes sense because you've explained it to us and broken it down to us. And we've said this about a week and a half ago that it's just a matter of time. Relax. And
that's all it is.
And exactly what you said. But what it is, what I think where the frustration for the fans comes from is the journalists, the mouthpieces of the club giving different signals, giving different sort of opinions.
No one knows anymore.
Well, they don't. And Neil Jones today came out with an article. I don't know if you guys have seen it. And he just said all the noises are coming from Germany, but we're not getting, and he literally said these words, we're not getting anything from the Liverpool side. Now, if that doesn't give away that they're not getting any information, I don't know what does, because he's literally spelled it out there. We're not getting any information from our side. There's no denial. When have Liverpool ever, sort of not denied that there's interest in a player that there is interest in it? Do you know what I mean? Like they shut down rumors for fun. It's a joke to them.
And they're comparing the Thiago situation to the Werner situation. There's no comparison whatsoever. Timo Werner was coming into Liverpool knowing he was going to be back up to the front three. We were willing to pay his clause. We had a deal and all worked out with him. But then Chelsea went in with him with nearly 6 times his wages he was getting at Leipzig and told him that he was going to be the main man. He's 23. He should be playing football every week. It makes complete sense why Werner went to Chelsea. Yeah, we did sleep at the wheel, but this has got absolutely nothing in common with what's going on with Thiago there. Thiago wants to come to Liverpool. He's done it all at Bayern Munich. He's won Champions Leagues at Barcelona and Bayern Munich. He wants another challenge. He's not going to go and play Manchester United, 29 years of age. He's not. People just need to realise what's going on here. They linked him to PSG. They linked him to Man City. They linked them to the United. They will continue to do so until the deal is officially done, because that's all they are trying to do. That's all it is. Lads, people just need to reading too much shit on the internet.
Shawnee's getting upset. And we don't like it when Shawnee's upset. There's a lot being said here about in the chat and online and you know, in our WhatsApp group we talk about it as well. Like a couple of lads have said like they feel it's criminal not to strengthen, and during this summer to go 3 seasons looking for the same squad minus a couple already with Lallana and Lovren, and people may laugh at that, but Lallana and Lovren were regulars in the squad week in, week out. But the one thing for me that's jumping out, getting away from Thiago a little bit, Keith, is you said a couple of minutes ago you don't feel they'll make a forward signing. I think the forward signing is probably the one we need the most.
Yeah, well, I suppose it depends. Again, at the end of the season, that'll dictate, you know, if we make a balls of it and we don't get enough goals to forward one, or if we lose Matip and Gomez to Niggles, the centre back one will be more important. You know, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, Thiago isn't the priority signing, but he has become the priority signing to get it done. By the looks of it, it's all in the Thiago basket at the moment. I just think that they're going to Dylan O'Rourke for a comment in earlier. Do I still think they won't sign if they sold off like Shaqiri, Origi and Brewster and that? Look, I don't think they're going to sell them. I think they might let one go and that'll be it. I think we're going to go with the same bodies. And my thinking is Oxlade-Chamberlain will play more in the attack than in the midfield. I don't agree with that. I don't think it's a good move, but I just think that's what could happen. I think they're going to go with Thiago. I think they're going to go with a centre back in the 10 to 15 million pound bracket, the range. And if that's all they do, I wouldn't be too surprised. They need strength. They need support in the front. As Seany was saying, you know, you can't. People using the Werner deal. It's a totally, you know, it's a moot point if ever there was one. we forget that FSG don't just own Liverpool. They own the Red Sox. They own what's that called, that car crap that they do, NASCAR. They have a NASCAR team and all, do they? Like, they've other interests that's all being affected. They're businessmen, you know. I think I don't think they're going to be too, even though they have the money, there's no one down. And people keep saying, oh, you got so much for winning the league, you got so much for winning the Champions League, we haven't spent it. Well, we haven't, and the money is there, but I just don't think they want to be seen to be thrown too much at positions and problems that aren't deemed essential to them.
I think a lot of people are going to get confused, and I think a lot of this noise that's been coming out of social media about FSG, I think they're going to be in for a shock, or I don't know how to put it, when we do sign Thiago, because they're going to realize.
They'll just moan about something else, Grizz. They'll moan about the grass at Anfield being too long.
Johnny, this is what I was coming to, because I think they're going to get confused and they're not going to know what to say or what to do next, because this will prove that, look, he doesn't fit the so-called FSG profile, right? We're talking about Thiago, right? But this is going to prove that there is no such thing as an FSG profile, because they're going to realize this is an elite player that wants to come to Liverpool and play under Jurgen Klopp. So we're not going to look at his profile as such in terms of age, injury record, all the things that have been thrown. So I want to know what people are going to say when we've signed Thiago, where they're going to go next, where they're going to look to moan or bitch or cry next, because this will wipe out all that side of things about FSG, don't buy, blah, 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 blah. Then we're going to buy a centre-back. So we've rectified the left-back scenario, the centre-back scenario, and we've bought an elite, world-class attacking midfielder at the age of 29. I can't wait for another 3-4 weeks when all this is settled and see where this fan base that's supposed to be the best fans in the world moan all the way through, right? And even though we've reached to the top, right? We're at the summit now, we're still fucking moaning. What are you moaning about? And Gav started off, I know Gav started off with the point like, not enough, nothing's going to be done about in this window, blah, 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 blah. I agree with anyone that says, our FSG are fucked up if we don't do anything in this window. And how long is there left in this window? Was it 6 weeks or 8 weeks, 7 weeks or something like that? If nothing is October, it's still August. Done, Gav, Keith, Seany, me, we will absolutely go on a massive 2-hour rant on this show. But that's not happened yet.
Yeah.
What are you fucking moaning about? What do you know about the negotiations? What do you know about how far deals are? What do you know about, as Seany says, the logistics? Relax. Look at Seany fucking looking like Clark Kent there. That's how every motherfucker should be. We should be relaxed like Clark Kent, or the Irish Clark Kent. Let the window close, see where we're at, and then vent.
Yeah, let the window close before you smash it up with every available object in the house.
Yeah. Well, I have to be honest with you. Like, I'm looking there. Like, there's one fella in there. You must be a United fan. He's just shouting Van der Beek out his Coney FN. He's just shouting
Coney 2020.
Yeah, he's on there. He's giving a loud fair play to me. He's really excited that he's up this late. But it's but like they haven't signed anyone, have they?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
They haven't signed Van der Beek either.
So
no, but look,
but no, hold on, Charlie, because I have to say this while I can remember, right? United are being linked with all sorts of players, right? And they haven't signed anyone yet. Van der Beek might happen in the next 48 hours, we don't know, right? But they haven't signed anybody, right? Roman Abramovich has obviously woken up and just throwing fucking money after money at Chelsea. And that, no, hold on. So you can't compare anyone to that at the moment. City have spent close to 70 million quid on 2 players, and they will add more, in my opinion. They're trying to sign Messi. Like, come on. Like, other than that, when you look around, Arsenal needed players, and that's fair enough. But I'm going to stick till the 6th of October. But I will say this. We lost Lovren, and as much as people will laugh about Lovren was in the squad whenever he was fit. Simple as that, right? So we need to put somebody in there to replace him. Adam Lallana left the club, and people will tell you Curtis Jones is his replacement, and he may be. But Thiago makes so much sense to me on so many levels because A, the Genie situation, B, Lallana has left the club and you need to fill something in. Curtis Jones is young, Milner is ageing, Oxlade-Chamberlain is unreliable, and Keita is very hit and miss as of today, up until today. So he makes an awful lot of sense. A striker makes the most sense for me, and the simple reason is because our backup isn't good enough. Divock Origi isn't good enough. Brewster, for me, needs to stay at the club for a year and learn. Shaqiri, if you're calling him a backup, he's never fucking around. And Minamino has looked bright, but I don't know if he's a front three player. He might be someone that plays off that. Okay, moving Oxlade-Chamberlain up there is not it. So for me, regardless of anything that's going on online or on anywhere, when I look at this and from a personal point of view, I look and I say, forget furloughing staff, forget COVID-19, forget what we have, what we don't have, and what we've let go. Forget all that. When you looked at that squad, right, and people put Simicast in there and say, well, we signed listen, it was crying out for fullback cover, crying out, regardless of what happened. So when you look at it, there's 3 positions in that team that you need to add to for a multitude of reasons. And I personally think, regardless of all the hysteria going around, that needs to be addressed by the 6th of October. But I am willing to look on the 6th of October and reassess it. Not have a fucking breakdown every single day, which would be about 40 days now. I'm not willing to do that every day.
Exactly, Gab. You'd rarely get Klopp commenting on stuff like this, but he literally said at the end of all this, like, yeah, it's running. We just need to be patient in this window. We're going to have to be patient. The thing is, the lay of the land in terms of COVID is still not, it's not clear for a lot of clubs. I'd imagine the picture is a lot clearer for Liverpool at the moment. But there's a number of clubs around Europe who are playing in the Premier Leagues who are in serious financial trouble. And come the later weeks of the window, it's going to be a fire sale. They're going to be firing players out the door.
Scatter going all over.
You betcha bottom dollar we will have a few players from those teams earmarked, ready to pick them up. Because that's what we do. Like, Chelsea are spending billions because they need to spend billions. City are spending billions because they always fucking spend billions. United haven't pulled the trigger yet, and Arsenal haven't pulled the trigger. Yes, we do have issues in the squad that need addressing, but unlike most of the other teams, we don't need major surgery. We just need a few tweaks here and there, and we'll be ready to go again. There's another 6 weeks left in the window.
Yeah.
How quick does it change? We went from Jamal Lewis to Simicast in 3 days, and it was done. That's how quick it was. And look, I guarantee you now, Jamal Lewis was our first choice because of the whole homegrown thing. I don't care what anyone says. I reckon Jamal Lewis was first choice, and with the homegrown thing, they said, you know what, fuck it, we'll bite the bullet and we'll get Simicast now because we have scouted him and he's good enough. We'll just have to fire one of the lads out the door. It's logistics. It's going to take time. If the season kicked off tomorrow, we'd be good to go. We'd have our first 11 ready to go, and we challenge most sides. Forget what you've seen in pre-season. Just relax. I get you. I get the frustration. It's drummed up because of the shite you're getting drilled into you on Twitter. You're reading the same story, worded differently every single day. You're driving yourself up the road.
But could I give you people a bit of advice? Sit down and decide what you want to see in this Liverpool squad on the 6th of October, okay? And read whatever you want between now and the 6th of October, and then go back to what you thought right now. When the 6th of October comes, go back to what you thought right now and see if it matches up. And if it doesn't match up, go mental, do what you want. But I think I just think it's just a case of now it's like people they must be fuming. I just have visions of people punching fucking things and everything, trying to tweet. Nathan says, in my opinion, it's ridiculous that Everton are spending 30 million on Alan, who is 29, and we aren't willing to do so. Grizz,
are you not watching the show?
Grizz,
are you not watching the show?
No.
Are you not watching the fucking show? Seriously.
I don't know. Grizz, I'll let you have that one.
I don't know what to say. I just shouted. I've done an outburst, Atletico Bilbao style. I had a massive outburst there. I've said everything clearly, and someone's just come back with rubbish rumors. Who said we're not willing to spend money on Thiago? Who's actually said that? An Italian, Fabrizio Romano, right? And buying mouthpieces who are trying to raise the price for their. None of Liverpool haven't come out and said anything. We will end up paying circa around 25 million for him. Then what are you going to talk about? Who's the fella? What was his name?
Oh man.
I don't know. It's gone off there. It's gone off there.
Call him Mr. X. Mr. X, what are you going to say next week or
Nathan.
whenever the deal is agreed? What are you going to moan about next week? Because there's no point in moaning about something that hasn't happened or has happened. You know, you can discuss it. What do you mean about we're not willing to? Who's not willing to? We are. We're Liverpool Football Club. We're the smartest operators in the transfer game. People, clubs, fans are jealous of how we operate and our success rate. Why? Because we're at the summit. We are where we are because of our recruitment team, because of Edwards, because of Klopp, because the three sort of Gordon, Klopp, Edwards are masters of their own fields. We are where we are because of these three guys. Let them do their work. If by the October the 6th, they haven't done what they were supposed to do, which is not stand still, because that's the phrase that gets thrown out fucking willy-nilly. We're standing still. Bollocks how we're standing still. Watch our squad when it comes to October the 6th, and then you can come on and shout and cry and scream and say, you guys didn't have a clue. You guys are getting paid by FSG. You guys are, stupid. What you want.
Too many people worry about what other clubs are doing and what other teams are doing, and because Team A is spending 30 million, why aren't we? It's not how it works. We spend sensibly. We've won the league on the back of winning a Champions League after being in a Champions League final the year before that. We're going about it the right way. People need to stop. Klopp done his press conference the other day and he said that about transfers, people, no matter what you do, sort of people want more. And some people took that as a dig at FSG, as if, they're not backing Klopp. Klopp wants more. I took it as in, no matter what they do, everyone wants more signings. We're reading it in the comments here tonight. We see it on Twitter. And look, comments are great. We love the comments. The comments drive the chat. That's fair enough. But people need to relax and stop worrying about what other clubs are doing.
Look,
worry about what we do.
Put it this way, right? Last summer, City bought Rodri for 60 million and Cancelo for 50 million, and we didn't do anything. Yeah. This is the season where we finished a point behind them, and everyone was saying, how are we supposed to keep up if these are spending X amount and X amount on these type of players? Right, that's fair enough. What went on? We won the league, right? Everyone was talking about Klopp being hamstrung and not being backed. There was massive talk that Klopp was going to walk away at the end of his first contract. If Klopp was being hamstrung by the owners, would he sign a new contract? We announced a new Klopp contract at Christmas this year. Use your head. Yeah. Do you think Klopp would have signed on?
Exactly.
Absolutely not, because you could literally go to any club in world football with a limited amount of resources and do it. Like, all you need to do is look at what's going on. Like, it's as simple as that. We do need to make signings. Your points now aren't valid because there's still so much left in the window. If it's deadline day and we're still having the same conversation, then we've been failed by the owners. We've been failed by the owners and the recruitment team of the club, and that's fair enough. But that's what hindsight. So just fucking relax. That's all it is.
Not only that, if we're going to blame FSG, we have to blame Klopp as well, because it's all part of a team. They're all part of a group. They work on transfers. If Klopp wants a player, I've said it before, if Klopp wants a player, they'll go and get him. And people jump in and say, oh, they didn't get Werner. It wasn't a priority. Do you know what I mean? It was a backup player. If Liverpool don't sign players, I think not that Klopp is as culpable as FSG, but you can't blame one and not blame them all. Do you know what I mean? If they're a committee and they work as a group, you blame them all. Do you know what I mean? So it's not like we're going to be sticking at one and not the other. The club will have failed if they then don't win the league or come sixth in the league. If they win the league, they haven't failed. It's as simple as that.
Robbie Richmond says 288 likes with 750 in the chat is a disgrace from some of you here in the chat room. I love his wording. I agree with you. I have to be honest with you, Robbie.
Smash that like button.
Listen.
Everyone
listen. Now listen.
I'm investing in a new laptop. Can everyone smash the like button, please? I need this laptop.
Okay.
And before we go on,
it's like giving out about your neighbour not having his Christmas tree up and it being October. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is what people are moaning about now. It's
Jono has a comment in there, Keith. You're telling me you won't be worried if City sign Messi. because you look at your rivals. You can't help what your rivals do. You can't stop. We can't do anything about City signing Messi. It's out of our control. So why would we worry about it? It's nothing to do with us. City can go and sign Messi, Neymar and Ronaldo if they want. Nothing to do with Liverpool. We're not in that conversation. So people need to accept that we're not in that conversation. We work a different way. Couldn't care less what the others do. We concentrate about ourselves. We play them twice a season. If we beat them 2 games, it doesn't matter what players they have. We just worry about ourselves. People need to stop worrying about every other club. Who cares? Right? It'll make them harder to beat, but that's fine. We improve by coaching, in my opinion. Some teams improve by just throwing the checkbook at it and signing. I mean, we're talking about signing Messi. This is ridiculous. There's nothing we can do about that. If Man City sign Messi and win 38 games, there's nothing we can do about that. So I don't know why people are worrying about Messi. Worry about our own team.
Well, look, I'm gonna close it up because we're an hour and 15 minutes in, and I think that's fair enough on a Sunday night at 11:15. But a quick, yeah. Well, it did. It not for you. It fucking did.
Yeah, 6 minutes of Grizz.
Avo asked Gav, have you shot the balls in the bookie yet? That sounds a bit wrong, but I know what he's doing. I had a go. It was unsuccessful, but I'm going to get out this week and try again. I have got the 5 finalists. I will reveal them in the video when we release it. It's just a case of getting the weather because it's been atrocious here for the last week or so, bar today, to be honest. And I was playing golf, Avo. I'm not giving up my golf to hit balls at a bin. Let's be honest about it. But before we go, lads, quick answer from Ollie is, people have said, what do you want, what you'd like to see, what do you expect to see, and it's an open forum here, so if you want to shout and rant, absolutely shout and rant, that's fine, I've no problem with that. But Grizz, from here on in, between now and the 6th of October, as it stands here today on the 30th of October, or August it is, how many players do Liverpool add to the squad from here on in, please?
3. We had 3 players and we'll be grand, as the Irish say.
Good stuff. Seany, are you agreeing with 3 or higher or lower?
I think we need 3. I think we need a centre back and an attacker. And right now, I ain't going to put my own grade ahead of everything else and say, if we don't sign Thiago, I'm never supporting Liverpool ever again.
After you invested all that money in the new Nike, Seany,
it's gone in the bin, and I'm going to support whoever he signs for. Like loads of people did when Robbie Fowler signed for Leeds back in the early 2000s. So that's what I'm going to do. Right, so I'll be on the fucking Leeds FC Daytrippers now next season if you ever to catch me when he's
marching on to get our podcast.
You absolutely Leeds.
Keith, how many players between now and the 6th of October, please?
I think we need 3. I wouldn't be surprised if we do 2. But okay. I think we'll do 3. I think we will get someone in up front. I've changed my mind.
Maverick says if Thiago doesn't sign, Grizz is in the doghouse until 2030 and beyond. And fucking beyond.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, that's absolutely fair enough. Grizz is willing to take that in the chin, no problem. Me, 3, please, Bob. I think it's 3. I don't go along with your thinking that we don't sign anyone and we wait till next year for an attacker. I think we need to do it now. I think the argument of competition is a very fair one when you look at the drop off from our front 3 to what we have at the moment. And I think Thiago happens, and I think a centre half happens, and I think we spend a little bit more on a centre half than people think. I understand people's panic because nothing has been spent, and what the media are trying to tell you is that Liverpool don't want to spend money and are trying to haggle over $1 million and $2 million quid here and there. I don't believe that in completely, but I think it'll be 3. Before we go, Instagram. Lads, you need to follow us on Instagram. Seany, the head of communications and Instagram, has told me to tell you this, and you will miss content, exclusive content for next season or the upcoming season, whatever you want to call it, if you are not following us on Instagram. Go to Instagram.
I'll let them know what we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing like post-match shows where you can actually jump on the stream with us and give your thoughts, and pre-match as well. We'll be talking about lineups and stuff like that. So if you want to be the next troops at DT, which based on all of yours, us going forward are going to be absolutely shite next year. So there's going to be so many fireworks, and you can all jump in and tell us exactly how wrong we are about players.
We're saving up for your man Robbie to be our new producer for next season, because he knows how to deal with that shite. But yeah, no, it's going to be, as Seany says, exclusive on Instagram before and after games, 10-15 minutes, but you have the opportunity to jump on, talk to us and give your thoughts before and after the game. The other thing I want to mention before we go, I am going to do the balls in the bucket thing. I will get it done as soon as I can. That's absolutely perfect. And the other thing I want to talk about is Predict Our Ace. There's loads of entries there. You're running out of time. It closes at midnight on the 11th of September before the first Premier League game of the season. You go to the Predict Our Ace video that's on our channel, go in there, watch the video, look in the comments. There's 50 questions, type your answers, send to the email address that are also in the comments, and come in with a chance to you can just brag about it when you win. But we will have prize at the end of the season. A couple have arrived with me at the house over the last week. One person donated a prize to us. A listener just got on to me and said, "I have this. Do you want it?" I went, "Yeah," and he looked after us there. So look out for that as well. Grizz, anything before we go?
No, thanks for having me on, pal. I apologise.
I've told everyone that we have tested your new laptop, and there is an issue that we're going to try sort out. So you don't be worrying about it. Seany, anything before we go, brother?
Yeah, keep on trucking on. Up the Leeds.
Leeds. Keith, anything before we go?
No. Yeah, the Leeds bandwagon is picking up steam, so that could be the next one for half of the fan base on Twitter. So watch this space.
Okay, Olivier Decor, SZN. Oh, I don't know if that at is gone, but I'm going to have a look at it now. That has been the Fatback 4 podcast. We are back on Tuesday night with the Transfer Agenda show from 10 p.m. And sure, you'll probably be signed by then. Over and out.